Corla. Taoiseach, I want to appeal to you. In the last week of this most historic campaign on the referendum to repeal the 8th Amendment, I want to appeal to you to join with me in putting a few things to bed with the public out there who are continually indicating that there's quite a degree of a level of confusion about what this is about. I want to ask you, Taoiseach, will you join with me in saying to the population that women's lives do indeed matter, and that this referendum is not about a licence to kill, as has been indicated by posters, that it's not about women being murderers, that it's not about the whole-scale slaughter of babies with disability, but that rather it's about quite an emotive, sensitive and deeply personal issue to do with women's health. And that in that context, women need to be given the right to be able to decide for their own lives. It's very interesting, the results of the Irish Times poll this morning, where clearly it shows that when asked if you would like to see a repeal of the 8th Amendment, 44% of the population say yes. But when asked if you think the law in Ireland needs to be changed to recognise a woman's right to choose to have an abortion, 62% of the population say yes. So the confusion arises from imagery which is misleading, false and deliberately so, messaging which is untruthful and is making a mockery of women's lives and the choices, the deeply divisive and difficult choices that they often have to make. We want to move away, Taoiseach, from a legacy of Magdalen laundries, mother and baby homes like Tuam, the shame and stigmatising of women, the wholesale export and outsourcing of women's health to Britain and elsewhere when they face a crisis pregnancy. And I think we need to absolutely endorse what the Irish population are saying when they say at a huge number that this is about a woman's right to decide, and to give that clarity to a very divisive debate which has framed it in terms of murder and manslaughter and the killing of babies. This is not it at all. Later on today, across the road in the hotel, I'll be joined by women who will give testimony to having had an abortion for various reasons, many reasons, Taoiseach, which go from I don't have a home, and you're well aware of this as a former Minister for Housing, the amount of children and women who are in homeless situations. I'm in an abusive relationship. We know this from the stats on domestic violence and sexual abuse. I haven't got a decent job, or I may lose my job. There are so many reasons, as there are women, and the divisiveness that is out there. I'm asking you, Taoiseach, to join with me in condemning any attempt to portray women as murderers, or to portray this referendum as being about a licence to kill either people with disabilities or babies. Please join with me in clarifying that for the Irish public. Gur maith agat mar sin, Taoiseach, and I fully agree with everything you've said, except I do recognise that there's a divisive debate taking place, but I do want you to join with me in saying that the use of misleading information and ugly imagery and claims like licence to kill is actually confusing the population. Whereas instead, if you ask the population, do you want to give women the right to decide for themselves? 62% say absolutely yes. And this is important because whatever Brid Smith thinks or Simon Coveney thinks, that's not the question people are being asked. What they're being asked is, this is a societal issue, do you think women should decide? And that's important because as we move towards post-referendum, we're going to have to look to, in the event of winning the referendum for a yes vote, we're going to have to look to how do we deal with ancillary issues such as making contraception free, such as having non-ethos objective and factually based sex education in our schools, the things that matter for women. If we don't do that, we're continuing to condemn women out of this country and younger women to stay alone at home with a pill going through a lot of pain without the medical supervision of their doctors. And finally, I'll just say, Taoiseach, there is a chill factor attached to the 8th Amendment. It criminalises women, it criminalises their doctors, and don't believe for 1 minute that that doesn't hang as a chill factor over all of the population, and indeed over partners and their families. I appreciate your remarks, but I really think we should clarify for people that a licence to kill is not what this is about.
Please, the time is up. Taoiseach, just one